Good morning to all the colleagues who have joined us today. Good morning to you, Prof. Rindani. My name is Lawrence Asani, and I'm from the Research Capacity Development Unit. Can you all hear me? Prof, can you hear me? Before I can proceed, and to all the colleagues and the participants who have joined us, can you all hear me? Please kindly indicate with the thumbs up if you can
Yes.
all hear me. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Prof. My name is Lawrence Asani from the Research Capacity Development Unit here at the Postgraduate School, University of Johannesburg. And I am also joined here by my colleague, Mr. Nkosietu Ntuli. And I am delighted to be your moderator for today's session. And I would also like to thank all the participants who have joined us and Prof. Rindani. We have accepted our invite of honored our invite to facilitate such an important topic or such important workshops all the way from the University of Venda. We really do appreciate you, Prof, for taking your time. I'm sure you all definitely have a busy schedule, but we really do appreciate you for taking your time and to come and to facilitate this topic titled Time Management and Prioritization for supervisors. We really do appreciate you, Prof. And before we can begin, I'd just like to go over a few housekeeping rules. Please kindly note that if you do have any questions during the session, please kindly raise your virtual hand. Or if you do not wish to speak, you can also type your questions in the chat box and I will indicate them to Prof. And Prof will be able to address the questions. And also, please note, as I've mentioned, that I will be sharing a feedback survey in which I would kindly ask all the participants or all the colleagues to fill in as to also get insight and also to provide some kind feedback to our facilitator. And also note that the recording of this session will be posted on our platforms, which is the YouTube page, the RCD management system, as well as on our model communities. But we'll also be sharing the recording with all the participants and all the colleagues who have joined us for today's sessions, together with the presentation slides from Prof. So without any further ado, please kindly allow me to introduce Prof. Rendani by reading over her bio. Prof. Rendani has such a read bio. She's a senior lecturer, associate professor in the Department of Arts and Social Science at the University of Venda. She has worked for over 20 years in higher education sector. She is the current head of Department of Arts and Social Sciences, a member of the Ethical Research Committee, SER, Senate Faculty Higher Degrees Committee in the Faculty of Humanities, Social Sciences, Education at the University of Venda. She specializes in medical sociology, sociology of the family, contemporary social problems, indigenous knowledge systems, culture. Prof. Rendani has supervised honors, masters, and PhD students. She has published extensively in peer-reviewed and accredited journals. So, without any further ado, Prof, I'd like to hand over to you again, and thank you so much for honoring my invite to facilitate such an important topic. And I would like to hand over to you now, Prof. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and good morning, colleagues. And thank you for a wonderful introduction. I am going to be your facilitator for today's workshop, but we will spend much of our 2 hours talking to each other. That's how our workshop will look like. So before I begin, I will appreciate if I know the audience. I have been introduced, but the way I would want you to introduce yourselves will be in this manner. You tell me your name, your field, the supervision load, and the challenges. I think in this way we'll be breaking the ice so that I will also be able to know whom am I talking to and where can I place much of my focus during our discussions. I
Okay,
will not
Prof.
be, yeah.
I just wanted to let you know that I've allowed the mics, and if the participants do type in the chat box, I will also be able to inform you as well.
Okay, no, it's fine.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm not going to read any name. So because here only initials are appearing. So I will appreciate if anyone can just start and then we continue. And then I will check the time. If we can do it just for 10 minutes, I will appreciate.
Okay, thank you, colleagues. I have unmuted your mics. You can also type your responses in the chat. As Prof said, I should just like a brief introduction to everybody who is in the room, so that she gets a feel of how the workshop rather will be navigated. Thank you so much. To the colleagues, you can either unmute your mic or you can just type in the chat your designation as Prof has mentioned, or your name, or rather the supervision workload that you also currently do have. Thank you. Okay, Prof, we also do have some PhD students as well. I would assume also they are probably starting the obviously supervision journey, or some of them might be also emerging researchers. So we have Tsepiso, who's also a PhD student. Absolum, you can unmute your mic and speak. Thank you.
Uh, thank you very much, Lawrence. My name is Absalom. Mkonyo is my surname. I'm currently supervising three master students at the University of Sunderland in the UK, and I'm a former PhD student at the University of Johannesburg.
Thank you.
Yeah, in terms of
Prof.
challenges, I think the challenge part is something that you would want to also hear from your request. You would find generally I'm not having a lot of challenges at the moment, but I'm realizing that some students tend to kind of drag when it comes down to beating up the agreed timelines in terms of submission of work.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Yes, you may go ahead, Prof. Sorry about that.
Yes.
Yeah, Prof, there is also some responses in the chat. We have Dr. Dlamini, Wiseman Dlamini from the UK's at N Science Faculty. He says, I'm currently supervising three master students and one PhD. We also have Dr. Anwar, who's also a doctor and a PDRF at the College of Business and Economics here at the University of Johannesburg. And we also have Dr. Keegan, who's a senior lecturer in applied mathematics, also currently supervising one PhD students and three honors students. And we also have Mo Mota, who's currently a PhD student and experiencing challenges with supervision process due to lengthy delays in receiving guidance and feedback on my writing. Gilbert, I see you have your hand raised. You may go ahead. Gilbert. Okay, Prof, there is another response in the chat. I don't know if it's Prof. Patricia or Dr. Patricia says she belongs to the Faculty of Engineering, and I'm currently supervising 15 first degree and five master's students at Accra Technical University. The challenge is always with time management and providing prompt feedback. Um, yes, Gilbert, you may go ahead. You may unmute your mic and speak. Thank you. Gilbert, we seem not to hear you.
Hello. What is?
Prof, can you hear Gilbert there from your side?
Thank you, thank you. Nezuro ndokwakuri. I think I'm only hearing somebody who failed to mute,
Okay,
and
apologies for that, Prof.
there is communication on the background.
Yes. Dr. Yvonne, please kindly mute your mic there. Just please mute your mic if you're not giving a response. Dr. Gilbert, your mic is unmuted. You may go ahead and speak. We can't seem to hear you from our side. Okay.
Maybe you can write on the chat.
Okay. We also have Rusa, who's supervising 10 students and truly having difficult with keeping up. The challenge is always with time management and providing prompt feedback as well. Maybe Dr. Gilbert, maybe you can type in the chat, or alternatively, you can try and exit the session and join back. Maybe your mic will enable. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, colleagues, and welcome. I'm quite sure that even students will find this engagement productive and it will be very much helpful. So, I see that your workload is not very heavy, colleagues, except for some few, but I know that the fact that supervision is not the only thing that we are doing as academics, meaning that somewhere we have to share the little time with admin, with teaching and learning, community engagement, then it takes or it draws a lot from our pods. Now, I'm quite sure that we are all aware that supervision is very much important currently for various reasons. We can add, as we'll be discussing. For example, it has financial implications. In other institutions, if you finish promoting a student on time, you get something. It can be cash, it can be money that goes to your research funds, and it also adds to the university funds, as the government will also be able to pay for those students. Now, meaning that in case we fail to finish on time, it implicates negatively on the money that we may receive, and we all want money. And then the other thing, it is also good on our mental health, because when we are supervising students, imagine you're supervising a student and it takes you more than 5 years. It becomes so much. You feel that you can't even, it is blocking other students whom you should have been supervising. And apparently, I think you also grow weary of rereading the same thing and trying to change, to polish and assist. So I think it also have an impact on our mental health, wherein it can also brings stress, boredom, and many other things. And again, I think when we finish on time, it's a matter of complying, which is very good. But it is also good for those who are still looking for promotions. For example, when you want to become maybe an associate professor, a senior lecturer, a professor, whatever, you might find that the university may require that you have supervised students to a certain level. Now, even socially, I mean, it is very much good when you find that you meet some of the students whom you supervised on time previously, and they are now somewhere, and you feel that you have produced, you have worked, it becomes very much good. Now I'm going to open my slides here so that we can when I'll be talking, we will also be able to see what I have planned from my side. Let me do the slideshow. So the topic of our workshop is time management and prioritization for research supervisors. We have around 2 hours to finish the workshop, so I will be very much quick. So as we start, like I've told you, I want this to be an interactive session wherein we will all be talking. So I hope I will prefer more if we talk rather than writing on the chat. I love engaging with people. So where possible, let us talk to each other. But where not possible, it's okay if we can write also on the chat. But I want us to engage. So as people were talking about challenges, I picked that the issue of time management, giving feedback is challenging, keeping up with time, dragging on submissions from the students' side. But I also know that supervisors as well can drag on submissions on feedback. And I also talk about this from my own experience and from other student experience as well, wherein you will find that you submit something to a supervisor. And of course, because supervisors are busy, you find that they also take months. I have come across a scenario wherein I will wait for a feedback for 6 months. My own experience when I was doing PhD, which is bad, which is very, 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 very bad. I know people are busy, but if our institutions, for example, requires that, although it's different, I know that in some institutions, masters should be 2 years, PhD should be 3 years. In our own at Univen, is crazy, because apparently when the policy was drafted some few years back, a mistake was done, and we have to finish our master's supervision within a year and PhD within 2 years. So that's why I don't have a better word, but I call it crazy, because there are many things that should be done. We need to have proposals submitted, written, submitted to the department to be presented, corrections done. Then we need to submit them to the faculty boards or school boards. Then corrections should be done. They should go for ethical clearance. When they come back, corrections should be done. Then they should be submitted to university high degree committees. Then after ethical clearance, there are also many other things: data collections, data analysis, and writing reports, the viva where possible, and also coming up with manuscript for submissions, because in other institutions, those are requirements. So if you think of 1 year, then you realize that it is undoable. But is a matter of compliance from our side. Now, I want us to think about last week together. And let us look if we have calendars. I prefer to use the old method wherein I use the desk calendar, but we can also do it online. And in your desk calendar, you need now to write things that are important. But today we are going to focus on aspects that relates to supervision. So if you look at your calendar last week, do you have anything that was postponed that you should have done? It may be reading a proposal, giving a student feedback, or any other thing. Look at your calendar. If you have anything that was postponed, can you ask yourself why? And share with us your experience on this matter. The second thing that I want us to do is to look on the scale of 1 to 10. And then from this scale, let us write in answering how in control do we feel of our time. So those are two short personal reflections that I want us to share together. If you have anything from your last week table that was postponed, just tell us what it was and why did you postpone it. I'm not seeing hands, but even if I can't see your hand, you can just speak. Let us have an let's just have a discussion. I think if we
Yes.
have a discussion, we'll all focus.
Okay, I have allowed all the colleagues' mics, all your mics are enabled. So if you do wish to speak, please just unmute from your side. And alternatively, you can type in the chat box. But as Prof mentioned, she would prefer if you actually do unmute and speak. Thank you. Yes, Dr. Absalom, you may go ahead and speak. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Lawrence. Uh, I could have given feedback to my undergrad uh, research students, quite a couple of them, I think almost up to about 10. But unfortunately, I could not do it for two reasons. At the moment, we are on holiday, and I had traveled, but I had to send ahead to students to say I will delay by about 5 more days because I always agree with them on a particular timeline within which I should be able to turn their work and give them feedback within that particular period, which is a maximum of about 2 weeks. So I should be able to have gone through all students' work and be able to give them feedback as much as possible. But unfortunately, I could not do it this past week because of the holiday. Even up to now, we were on holiday, but I gave them um, emails to that effect to say, look, I'm going to be delaying by this much. Same applies to my University of Sunderland students that I'm actually supervising at master's level. I also had to communicate as well, but still hoping to stick to my time that I gave them. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would like to believe that I'm around 8 in terms of how I control my time. Most of the time, I'm almost 100% in terms of my time, but this time around, because of the holidays, I found myself falling back a little bit, probably by 2 points, leaving me on a scale of 1 to 10 at around 8.
Thank you very much. We can learn from the previous speaker. One thing that I'm taking that is good is giving a report to student, alerting them, sorry, not a report, but alerting them that I will delay.
Yes.
So that is a very good point, because now it motivates students, it gives them, it is positive, because instead of the experience of mine, wherein you wait for 6 months and there is no response. So, but it was long time ago. I think people are improving with time. So thank you very much. Is there any other person who want to respond to our personal reflection?
Prof, there is one from Dr. Lamini in the chat, which states, on my side, I was supposed to review and read students' article. I was not feeling well, and I hope to send feedback this week. And we also do have another one again from Nangolo Rusa, who says, on my side, it's purely procrastination, always putting myself under pressure, always stating tomorrow is tomorrow. I need help when deadline is approaching, is when I am on pressure.
Thank you. Yeah. I can see that we really need time management skills. But like I said, the competing roles that we have, I think it also have an impact on our work. But taking holidays, I think we also need that. A little time to sit and reflect with our families, with our friends, with our own self. It also helps, because if we just work without stopping, sometimes it can also have a negative impact on our health. So, is there any other hand that you are picking from your side, Lawrence? I'm seeing AM because I can only see initials this side.
That was Dr. Absolum. Dr. Absolum, do you want to add something, or that is an old hand there?
I think it's
Uh,
a
uh,
legacy.
uh, sorry. I think this should be a legacy hand. I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Um, so I have already talked this slide, why this matters for supervisors. So we have already talked about the fact that supervision competes with several other legitimate demands on our week. And depending on institutions, some will even tell you that teaching and learning will have to come first. You need to prioritize teaching and learning. So we have competing roles like teaching, research, committee work, and administration, which all draw the same hours as supervision. And what I've also learned, I mean, from my experience, I don't stick to working hours because for me, it doesn't help. But I'm lucky because I'm staying closer to the university. So sometimes after 5 o'clock, when other people are leaving, I always remain to ensure that if I can have 3 hours to look into those things that I couldn't do during the day, maybe because of teachings and meetings, then I can give myself a little time to work on those few things. Um, but it's not, I don't know whether it is good or bad, but the way I see the demands from our side as academics, I'm sorry to say this, but our type of work is very different. Unlike, for example, nurses who get into the wards and work, and then after that they go home. If they're not in the office, it's different. So with us, we will always have more demanding roles. And to interpret it, it will mean that sometimes we need to sacrifice our me time, which is not a good thing, but I think that is how professors has been doing. Yeah, trying to sacrifice time. So I've also picked that there are now growing loads from institutions, maybe to carry more students, which have a negative impact again on ourselves. And you find that they have varied stages. And we also find that progress most of the time will depend on supervisors. But I have come across a situation wherein you find that you have best students, students who put more effort on their work. So it really helps to ensure that the supervision work goes as quickly as possible. So, but I mean, it's okay. We can't have students at the same level. Some will have better skills than others. Some will put more effort in their work. They will read more and their progress will be quicker. So I have a question. Where supervisors' time goes missing? So I'm hoping that from our exercise, we are familiar with this reactive email and admin, like inbox demands, crowd outplan, deep work, and even student needs, wherein some students will need far more time than others. Sometimes when you supervise, you will find that there are students whom you will have to sit with them when they're writing their proposal, and you will read word to word. You will have to assist in coming up with ideas, in building objectives. So those will be different from those who are able to sit and draft their own objectives, come up with research questions and link them to their study, to their aim, to their topic. So we also sometimes find that we have unclear boundaries, wherein availability now will creeps into evenings and weekends, like what I was saying. Now, wherein you'll find that you will have to work after hours. There are competing institutional roles, teaching committees, research, all put at once, community engagement, and many other things. So feedback, backlogs, delayed commensal, a student's next step, and sometimes you find that there's no dedicated planning time. So then what is the answer? There is what we call prioritization matrix, which can be of assistance to us as supervisors. So the prioritization matrix has 4 blocks, wherein we need to sort each task by urgency and importance, not by who asked last. So the blocks are categorized as follows. We have urgent and important. We have not urgent and important. We have urgent and not important. And we have not urgent and not important. So it will mean that if we can have this prioritization matrix, we will be able to know when we start our day from our own table of what we should do within a day, where should we start? So obviously we should always start with that which is urgent and also important, where there are deadlines. For example, let's say the university is closing exam submissions. Like there is a due date for submitting let's say the exam section has set a due date for submitting thesis or mini dissertations. It will mean that that one is not just urgent, but is also important because it has financial implications. For example, if that student missed that deadline, it will mean that they have to resubmit, for example, the following year. It means that we need to treat that as a very much urgent and important. Or maybe another example will be if the faculty has a deadline set for proposal submissions. So it means that if we don't prioritize that, our students will miss submitting within a specified time. And maybe you'll find that they will be delayed because you'll find that maybe other boards runs maybe bi-weekly or maybe once in a month, like from our side, it's only once in a month. So it means that we need to treat those things as urgent and important. So sometimes you find that there are things that are important but not urgent. So it means that those we can put them later. For example, strategic reading time, mentoring conservation, or your own reading. So if it's myself, it means that I can put aside to say I will do it after hours. So sometimes you'll find that there are things that are very urgent, although they are not very important, like routine admin, emails, or low-stake requests. And lastly will be those not urgent and not important. They should also be treated, but you can do it as your last minute thing, like low value meetings, unstructured browsing, and so forth. So the matrix is very helpful. I mean, when you are planning your day, it can also assist you to have a good mental health, knowing that those that are very much urgent and important, you have covered, so your pace will be good. Managing multiple students. So most of us here, we don't have many students, but maybe as a question that I want to pose to our group, to ensure that some people can learn from this discussion, from other colleagues as well. Let's say you have a group of, I have heard others calling undergrad supervision, so I will assume that those are our fourth year level students in a degree who are also expected to come up with a mini dissertation. So meaning that they should also go through the aspects of doing a research or a project. So let's say you have more than 30 students or 40 from that group. What do you think are some of the aspects that can be of helpful to ensure that they finish on time? I'm posing that as a question group. Anyone who have had an experience? I can't see your hands, Lawrence, if there is a hand.
Yes, I'm just checking that, Prof. So the mics has also been enabled. So if you do wish to speak, as I've stated, you can just unmute colleagues from your side or rather type in the chat and I will also read it out to Prof. Thank you. If you'd like to contribute, please just kindly unmute your mic and go ahead. Thank you so much. I don't see any hands at this point, Prof. And
Okay, we may continue.
yes, I think we may proceed. Yes, thank you, Prof.
Okay, structure-based improvisation when demands compete. So how can we manage
Prof.
large group? Yes.
Sorry, Prof. Sorry about that. They said, can you please repeat the questions? I had a sound issue.
Oh, the question was, if we are managing a large group, a large number of maybe undergrad students, like our honor students, and we want to ensure that we finish supervision on time, what are some of the strategies that we can use as supervisors to manage time and ensure that they compete within the stipulated limited time?
Hi, Prof.
Yes.
I don't know if you can hear me. Sorry, I've been having sound issues. Yeah, I haven't had major groups of honors students, but I've never really looked at it in such a technical manner like what you have on the screen here. So this is quite helpful because I never really thought about doing this so intentionally, which is really great. Thank you.
Thank you very much for such encouragement. I know that normally when we have this type of workshops, although we might not have encountered some of the challenges, but it also equips us with knowledge so that whenever we'll come across those type of challenges, we will know how to cross the bridge. Within our institution currently, I have realized that people now talk about what we call group supervision. And I have found that it is now becoming very helpful for people who have a large group of students to supervise. Sometimes some of the lecturers, like from our institutions which are smaller, you find that a supervisor or a lecturer has more than 50 students, undergrad students, within one group to supervise. So group supervision becomes very much helpful, wherein you take students together start writing together. Then you teach them as they are writing. You teach them, maybe for example, you want to teach them how to create a topic. You teach them together, then they write together, then they engage and see how to improve it, or sometimes you group them. I've heard that some institutions now can allow a group dissertations, group mini dissertations, wherein you can give them one topic, or they can pick one topic and then work with that topic, maybe in a group of 5, or depending on the number that you would feel is okay. It is a good thing, although maybe challenges may arise, like wherein you find that some students, they don't participate much, or they don't contribute, but still they want to end up having or sharing from the marks that the group will receive. So, but here I've written, not every student needs a weekly meeting. So it will mean that you have to match frequency to stage a need. And also have group feedback sessions and reading days instead of switching constantly. So within a group feedback session, one thing that I love about the group feedback is that the group learn from each other's mistake, and then they can also improve. So ring fence recurring time for supervision, not just for teaching and admin, and also prioritize by what is genuinely due, not by who emailed most recently. So I have a scenario for discussion again. So you supervise 5 students. 2 are close to submission, and 1 has gone quiet for a month. And you have a faculty committee deadline this week. How do you allocate your next 5 working days? So let us try to work on this by looking at what is genuinely urgent versus just urgent feeling. What can realistically wait a week without real cost, and who need a short proactive check-in rather than a full meeting. So, colleagues, how can we allocate our next 5 working days, given the little scenario for discussion?
I have allowed all the mics to all the colleagues again. So, as Prof mentioned, if you do wish to speak, please just kindly unmute from your side, and you may go ahead and speak. Thank you so much. Or you may type the questions or the answers in the chat box. Thank you so much.
Any response?
None in the chat, Prof. But just from my side, I think I can add there. As you said, as the statement says that you supervise 5 students, 2 are close to submission, and 1 has gone quiet. I think the one that has gone quiet for a month, who is close to submission, that should be something that should be genuinely urgent and needs to be worked on immediately. And as you said, there's
Okay. Thank you very much for the answer. I agree, but maybe you would have also added the faculty committee deadline, because you are given 5 working days, and then you prioritize to say the first day, this is what I will do, the second day, and then within that 5 days, then you will also, in your last day, add those students that are also getting closer to submission.
Definitely, Prof. As somebody who has okay, Dr. Maisa, you can unmute your mic and speak. Thank you.
Sorry, I just asked if they're all due in the same week, because if for instance, the faculty deadline is this week, but it doesn't particularly say like all of the submissions are due this week, because then perhaps the prioritization could move to the next week, depending on, what is due this week. Because if the committee deadline is this week, that would definitely be a priority. The student who's gone quiet for a month, perhaps a quick check-in with them, if they will even respond, but obviously not to dwell on them, because I don't see how you could maybe fix that in these 5 days. And then the two that are close to submission, depending on whether they're due on the same week or maybe the following week or at a later stage, that would really decipher, well, for me, what the priority would be.
Okay. I love a different flip. But we have 5 working days. So all of this, even the faculty committee deadline, although we don't have a day, but it's within the same 5 working days. So it's within 1 week. So I love your own side, but I once read something. It's a little story of a farmer who has 100 sheep and one is lost. So we have students here who are closer to submit, meaning that they are good. But we have the other one whom we don't know. They are lost. They are in a limbo. They are lost. So the story of the farmer, the decision was the farmer will have to leave those other sheep that are fine and go and look for one sheep that is lost, because this lost one should also be prioritized so that they will be able to submit with others. But those ones who are ready, who are closer, it means they are doing well. So, but the idea here is that we have 5 days. So it means when you plan, look at what you think should be done first. Thinking of the matrix that we have. So within 5 days, those that are closer to submission, it means they can be assisted to submit in a shorter period of time compared to the one whom we don't know where they are, but we also want them to submit. We also want them to also, ensure that they finish on time with others. So, but we can all have our own matrix, as much as from it we can learn the fact that we need to look at what is urgent and important, what is urgent and not important, what is not urgent and important, what is not urgent and not important. I'm not sure if I'm making sense.
Yeah, no, yes, Prof, you are making sense. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Um, so our action plan. So I thought we can complete this before we leave so that it can assist us in our time management as we are supervising. So it's called Start, Stop, and Protect. From this engagement, what is it that, or what is a new practice which one can say, I will begin this week with? What is it that one can say, one time drain, I will cut or reduce? And what is it that one can say is a recurring block I will defend on my calendar? So what I'm trying to say is that we should, from this engagement, as we plan our week, to ensure that we maximize the little time that we have. What is this? What is it that we have been doing that we think this practice can assist us in ensuring that we finish or we manage our time? For example, I gave an example of my own desktop calendar, wherein I write the specifics whenever there is something to be done in that day. Within that block, I will be able to write in small letters to say this is what should be done. And then from this engagement, maybe I can add the matrix, wherein I can take, for example, a highlighter with 4 different colors. And then these colors, red maybe will stand for those that are urgent and very important. So it means that this is a danger zone. And then maybe I will have a green for those that are also urgent but not important. And then maybe the yellow and maybe also the purple. So anyone can plan to say, okay, this is how I want to start my week to ensure maximization of my time when I'm supervising. So maybe we'll say this one has been here in the system for 2 years. So it means that I should put more effort to push them. If they are submitting, I have to ensure that I put more effort to ensure that I give feedback, because they need to exit so that I finish on time. So we can also, from the engagement, look at some of the things that we think they drain our time, which we should cut or reduce. Have learned that many a times, I think this is not relevant though, but because I'm talking about a one-time drain, which we should cut or reduce, I will just give that as an example. From our students, I have learned that you find that nowadays there is a tendency of spending time on Facebook, TikTok, and all this WhatsApp status and to an extent that even when people are in the class, they are tempted to view those things. So I think if I was talking to students, I will give that as an example to say that is one time drain which should be cut or reduced, wherein we need to create a discipline to say whenever I am starting my day, those are things that I will not want to focus on. So, but from our side, we may say, okay, emails. You know, when you read emails every now and then, they can distract you from focusing. So it is important that maybe we can schedule time to read emails so that we are not distracted, because some emails may distract us. And yeah, but one can look at things that they think take their time. For example, colleagues who calls and then just a minute. Sorry, colleagues, I was just trying to address something. So, like I was saying, let us look at our own and see what is it that we can stop that drain our time. Like, for example, sometimes you find that a colleague is calling you and they just want to greet, or they want to talk about their weekend or personal issues, wherein they can take, some people can take 30 minutes talking. So those types of conservation, sometimes maybe you can just ask politely to say, can we talk maybe after or during lunch, or yeah, something like that politely. So, but I'm just saying we can all think about those things that are our red lines that normally intervenes with our time, that ensure that our time is drained. And from our engagement, we can as well look at the things that we think have been working for us, that we can defend to ensure that we maximize our time. So we can as well all look at what is it that drain our time, what is it that can help us improve, and so forth. Sometimes, you know, with for example, with communications, like people are sending you WhatsApp messages, and you don't focus on those because they would be destructive. I think it helps. It really helps, because when you start answering those messages, sometimes you'll find that they can take 20 minutes of your time. And when you go back, you will find that your day is already ruined. So, but I'm just saying, each of us can sit and plan to see where is our time going, what can we protect, and what can we do to ensure that we maximize the little time that we have. So key takeaways before you go: not everything is urgent. Sort before you act. Protect your scheduled time for supervision. the way you protect your teaching time, and match check in frequency to student need, not to habit. And lastly, a stated boundary is kinder, not more sustainable than an open-ended one. So thank you, colleagues. I want to open the floor for questions and discussions.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof, for your presentation. We really do appreciate your insights, your expertise there that you have provided us in this such an important session titled Time Management and Prioritization for Supervisors. And I hope all the colleagues who have joined us today here really have taken a thing or two that they will use within the supervision journey. And, your presentation has provided really valuable guidance on managing supervisory responsibilities more effectively and also ensuring that we prioritize tasks to enhance the postgraduate supervision experience. In that regard, to all the colleagues, I think as Prof mentioned, we can open the floor to questions or comments or discussions as well as your experiences as well. Prof, I think there is a comment that was made in the chat. Let me just read it to you. I think it's from Dr. Mais. It says, start prioritizing and not trying to do everything at once. Plus, actually use my calendar more smartly. Stop trying to procrastinate by being more organized. Obviously, that is by reducing distractions like doom scrolling, as you've mentioned, Prof, on our phones, on our Facebook, and constantly checking emails, and also to cut out a weekly blog solely dedicated to supervision so that it does not get pushed on. So that is from Dr. Maisa there, Prof.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much. That is mouthful from my side.
No, definitely no. Thank you so much there, Dr. Maisa. And I think also from my side, Prof, I think obviously, I'll just say this obviously from a student perspectives. Obviously, I think one thing that would start is to obviously start writing more. I guess start writing more on my chapters. As obviously I'm a PhD student, so obviously that would be one thing that I'll constantly ensure that I write more to ensure that I meet deadlines that are set by my supervisor, and also stop procrastination, because I think that's an issue that a lot of us as academics as well as students or supervisors do face. So I think that'll be one thing that would stop. And also, I think one thing also that we should try to protect ourselves with is browsing and being on your phone all the time. I think that also one issue that we all face. And sometimes you're just saying no, you're just replying to your WhatsApp, but you end up seeing your face, yourself on Facebook, scrolling on your phone, and by the time you check, it's already like 30 minutes has gone, and you haven't really done much. So I think that also some of the stuff that we can also work on, as well as academics, as well as a student's perspective from my side as well. Um, yeah, thank you so much, Prof. Any other questions or any comments from the colleagues? Any comments, any questions? You may just raise up your hand, or any experiences that you would like to share with us. And also to all the colleagues and the participants who have joined us, as I've mentioned in the beginning, that I have share the feedback survey in the chat. So I would kindly ask all the participants, rather all the colleagues, to please kindly fill it out, as this will be able to take you about a minute or two to fill it out, just to get insight on how the workshop proceedings have gone, and also to provide also some kind words to our facilitator, as we'll be sharing the feedback survey with Prof, as well as the attendance register as well. So Prof, there is just a few comments as well from Dr. Dlamini, who says, great presentation. Thank you, Prof, and RCD for organizing the relevant workshops. And also from Prof. Patricia saying, very insightful presentation, Prof. Thank you so much. Um, I think, no, definitely. I think the session has been very, very insightful. And to our participants, as we said, we will share the presentation as will also requested from Prof. Prof would also kindly request if you can share your presentation slides with us so that we can share it with all the colleagues, as well as the presentation slides together with the recording of this session. We'll also be able to share it with you, Prof, as well as all the participants who have joined us for today's session. So are there any other comments from colleagues, or any last comments that you'd like to share with us? Prof, any last words, or anyone that has any experience or any questions before we can get to the end of this session? Prof, would you like to leave us with some words before we can go to the end of this session? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lawrence and colleagues. It is a great honor for me to have spent this little time with you sharing. I really appreciate the audience. I would have loved, from my side, if there were more questions so that I can now explain more based on the questions that are coming. Maybe we were going to add more flesh to the presentation by giving more experiences, because my thought was that whenever questions comes, then we'll answer by using experiences instead of just theories on how we have managed to supervise and finish on time, because it is a journey, and in this journey we need all the skills to ensure that we do it promptly and on time. So, but thank you very much. I really appreciate the invite. I appreciate the audience and all the feedback that has come, and even to our students. I'm hoping that you will be able as well, you will be able to use the matrix to ensure that you prioritize your own time when you are dealing with your own space when as a student. This will be very much helpful, even if you're just planning your project journey. You will be able to do your own calendar and do your own gunpoint that will show you that within these 2 weeks, if I have to ensure that my proposal is done, what are the steps that I can do to ensure that I finish on time? What is it that I should put aside? What is it that I should run with? Sticking to your time frames. If you have a Gantt chart that shows you the program of the project, is very much important. Don't just write maybe a plan and dates for the sake of submitting your proposal for approval. Ensure that you do it on time, because time is money. And the time that we waste, it is not something that we can get it back. When we lose our time, we don't get it back. Any minute that we lose is gone forever. So time management is very much important, and starting our day fruitfully is also very much helpful. I've loved it when people were also adding about the issue of gadgets, because what I've learned with gadgets, it draws from our mental health to an extent that if we start with gadgets like our conversations with friends, before you know it, you'll be very, very tired. But if you start your day fresh, and then we use gadgets for refreshing when we have worked a lot, I think it is a good practice that can also assist us as well as students. So thank you, Lawrence.
Thank you, Prof. Prof, just would like also just to ask, just a question also, as a student, um, you know, obviously as a PhD student, you try to balance, your research and also work and personal commitments. And how can we as students and supervisors try to establish sort of like realistic timelines and from also your own experience, what are some of the most common time management mistakes that um, us as PhD students make, and how can we try to avoid those as well? I don't know if you get me there from my side, Prof. Yeah.
Yes, I'm not gonna put it in a, yeah, what I'm trying to say is that it's not, I think I'm gonna be hard in answering this. I'm not going to be soft, because my experience is that I know we have social life, we have other commitments, but when it comes to academic work, like doing research projects, my experience is that academics sometimes are cut out from the social life. They are cut because you can't have it all. That one is true. You can't have it all. You can't have time to go partying and socializing. In from our side, we have Ribodo, wherein people go during weekends, they cook meat and they eat and this and that. I don't think you can have that time. So from my side, I will say that you need to start learning to sacrifice your other time if you want to do it right. Sacrifice your other time if you want to do it right.
Yeah.
I have one colleague from our institution whom within a small period of time, she was a kindergarten teacher. I'm going to use this as an example, but you will not know the name. She was a kindergarten teacher. So she joined the university. Now, as a learning early childhood, what, as a lecturer. So from my experience, from what she said, how she was doing it, she will, because she was also teaching, after school, she will go and prepare her supper, bath, go back to the office and work until late hours. She will work until late hours, but that's how we used to do it even before. You'll find people staying in the library until 12, until 1 o'clock, 1 a.m. So, but I'm trying to say that I'm talking about sacrificing your me time. That's the only way you can do it. And avoiding all the distractions. Avoid distractions. And sometimes there may be other commitments that are there outside that you can politely, like, you can politely ask to be excused, like some family gatherings that are not very, very much important. like your friends gatherings that are not very, very much important. Because what I've realized with academic life, if you don't put more effort in your reading, in your writing, you will not have, you will not come up on top. Like, maybe if I have to put it that way. So if you need to come up on top, you need to put more effort. That is why I'm not saying you should be that, but I'm just saying the only way is to put more effort and sacrifice the me time and avoid distractions. If you think of your former vice chancellor, Prof. Chirizi Marwara, if you look at him, the way he lives, you can learn more from his life. 12 o'clock midnight, you will find him sending reports, media reports. So, and if you look at him, you will think that is very old because he doesn't really have time for beauty. And I'm not saying do that, but I'm just saying you see that it's a time that is being sacrificed, and put more effort on developing your academic career. And then later on, when you finish, you can now get hold of your me time. Yeah. So, but in a nutshell, it's a matter of sacrificing. Lawrence?
Yes, no, thank you so much, Prof. I think, as you've mentioned, I think it's always important to obviously, as you mentioned, to always, sacrifice time and to always ensure that obviously you put your academics first. And as much as sometimes we say we're not gonna procrastinate, we're not gonna sacrifice time. I think at the end of the day we have to always try and put that in practice as much as we say we are going to do it. And I think it's always important to ensure that we implement these strategies in our time management schedule, as well as we try to attain our goals, as as far as as postgraduate our postgraduate thesis or in our supervision journey. And with that being said, Prof, I know I really do appreciate your insights and your expertise there. Thank you so much, Prof. And to the colleagues, as I've mentioned that I've inserted the feedback survey in the chat, so I would appreciate if you really do take a few minutes to complete the feedback, which we'll be sharing with our facilitator together with attendance reports. So, Prof, I think this sort of like brings us to the end of the session. I see there isn't any further comments in the chat and no hands raised. So with that being said, on behalf of the Research Capacity Development Unit and all our participants, we sincerely appreciate the time, the expertise, and the practical strategies that you have shared with us today. And as I've mentioned, I think your presentation really did offer us some valuable guidance on managing supervisor responsibilities, as well as our us who are sort of like pursuing our postgraduate dissertation and thesis as well, and more, and also ensure that we're prioritizing tasks to enhance our postgraduate journey, as well as our postgraduate supervision experience. And to all the participants, thank you so much for active participation and engagement throughout the workshop. We trust that this session was beneficial to you all. And as I've mentioned, that I have shared the feedback. Just please do take your time to fill that in. And we'll also be sharing the recording of the session to all the participants that have taken part in this session. And we hope to see you at all our upcoming workshop seminars hosted by the Research Capacity Development Unit. And Prof, with that being said, thank you once again, and have a wonderful day further there, Prof. We really do appreciate you taking your time, on your busy schedule as well. We really do appreciate that, Prof. And hopefully to have more collaborations with you in the future.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Prof. I'll now be ending this session, and thank you again to all the participants. Have a great day further ahead. Thank you, and bye.
Bye. I will be sending you the slides.
Okay, no, thank you so much, Prof. We really do appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prof. And have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, colleagues. Bye.